Go live, go live. Hello, Instagram. Hello, Facebook. Hello, YouTube. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining again another Wednesday evening, like a 9 Eastern time, for another episode, everything you wanted to know about dogs, but you didn't have whom to ask. So until you come up with your questions that you would love and be interesting for me to answer, we're going to start with an amazing study that was published in 2016 by the group of authors, and was talking about the stress and cancer in dogs, comparison between a population of the dog diagnosed with a cancer and a control population. And the abstract of this study says, it's widely accepted that the physiological stress and mental illness can compromise the function of the immune system. Clinical and epidemiological studies on humans recognize that specific physiological factors such as stress, chronic depression, lack of social support, and risk factors for the development of the progress of the cancer. Unfortunately, most of the animal studies on this subject are based on laboratory tests performed on mice or rats. This responsive cohort study aims to analyze the relationship between stress and tumor in pets' dogs. By evaluating diagnosed dogs with cancer, and the control group consists of the healthy dogs, our results show that before the cancer was diagnosed, more dogs of the oncological group faced challenges in their household and routine as opposed to a control group. More of dogs in oncological group than the control group also showed signs of stress and anxiety before the cancer diagnosed. As reported by the owners, this includes attention seeking, hiding without specific reason, following the owner around the house, hypervigilance, fear of fireworks and gunshots, biting, aggression towards other dogs and other humans or the humans, licking and chewing excessively is part of their body, separation anxiety. Our results are aligned with the evidence from human research, including that the dogs with a cancer are significantly more likely to have shown signs of stress compared to control dogs during their life. So, as I was trying to talk all of this, since we started this podcast, and in our research and my lifelong service to the dogs and the people owning the dogs, I always try to put this. I can't stress enough how much is important for the humans to start looking at the dogs' real needs. Because all of these, what they said, like the dogs that are much likely to develop the cancer in the later years of life, these dogs, including this dog has, the owners reported the dogs has following behavior patterns and challenges: attention seeking, hiding without specific reason, following the owner around the house, hypervigilance, fear of fireworks and gunshots, biting, aggression towards other dogs, licking and chewing excessively parts of their body. All of those behavior issues in the earlier stages of life of dog were linked to a later time of cancer development. That's why it's so important that we act on time to fix all the behavior challenges our dogs might face. Because later might be too late. And we just, we put them out to some obedience training. We took them to obedience classes. We took CBD oils and all kind of things, trying to solve the problem that was actually communication problem. All of these, attention seeking, anxiety, what did they say? Like aggression towards dogs, following owners, hypervigilance, fear of the fiber, all of that is rooted into a human-dog interaction, into that, everything of this is rooted in a dog doesn't trust their leaders. Dog doesn't trust their parents. Dog didn't develop secure attachment. It's an insecure attachment, like a babies would develop insecure attachments toward their mother if they do not feel understood. And that's where the children and the dogs develop this unsecure attachment that are actually leaving them wondering. For the babies, human babies would be, do my mom loves me? And for the dogs, are my owners or parents responsible to provide the survival to our family, to the pack, to the structure? And all of that, you name the canine-human interaction problem, the root cause is in not communicating with the dogs properly. Yeah. Of course, it's kind of like, but this is like, I'm not, I will post the link to this study so you can read it. And, it's very interesting read. So I just wrote you, I read only the abstract to this, but you have a very comprehensive analysis of all of this, what's going on. And I cannot stress enough, in order to help all of you, understand deeply and dive deeply in this understanding. We are just about to launch tomorrow, and this is like a breaking news for all of you. Organized by our Pure Love and Harmony Institute, the very comprehensive study. We want to bring this this awareness of how our relationship with the dog impacts their physiology, health, and well-being. And we're going to do that by offering you to participate in this study as a part of the study. And you will, if you can pull up on the platforms and just share the link where the people can sign up for this. It's completely free. We will fund everything that need to be funded in order for us to gain significant results. But you, as a member of this study, you just need to fill up the questionnaire. You can read about the study and abstract and what we aim to do, and I'm gonna use this time a little bit to explain. And then we'll have a control and a study group based on your answers on that questionnaire. And what we're gonna do, the study gonna take around like 150 days. And you're gonna be invited to do hair tissue mineral analysis on the beginning of the study and on the end of the study. So what we can learn about the hair tissue mineral analysis is the actually mineral structure of the hair. When you dive into those secrets, because when you do a blood work or you dive into this average laboratory test, you can learn about the things that you already are searching for, right? Like you have a problem, and then you do the blood work, and then you know which kind of direction you want to take your evaluation of the problem. But when you do a code testing, usually you don't expect nothing to find because your dog looks completely like happy, maybe overexcited, and as whatever we're gonna say, little leash pulling, or he's just afraid a little bit of the fire, he jumps all the time on the people, or he just have this insignificant behavior, but it's not a big deal. He's a small dog, and I can handle that. And then when you take a coat and you see the mineral ratio, that's what the most important thing is, the ratio of the minerals. Because that's all linked to a proper functioning of the thyroid gland. And the thyroid gland can oftentimes be, impacted by the stress of the surrounding the dogs live in. Because the stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol take over, and then the adrenaline gland put itself in the less functioning mode. And that's what it says. Like the beginning of this abstract says, it's widely acceptable that the physiological stress and mental illness can compromise the function of the immune system. So where we are the cancerous cells in our bodies and the bodies of the dogs are produced like on an hourly rate. Like every day we have some possible sparkle that can go wrong. And nothing goes wrong until immune system is properly functioning. The immune system will be able to fight all of those cancerous cells in some time when we don't eat, in this intermediate fasting, what's now recommended as a recovery of the bodies, and all kind of those things will be able to recover and then again like start new and fresh and everything, like if the immune system function properly. The stress, the basic analogy of this is when the dogs are in stress, it's like very important to understand that the stress means some life-threatening event that's supposed to pass very fast. And then the dogs are put in a state of choosing 3 things to do. When the cortisol is in place, that's action-guided hormone. When everything is shut down, the brain gets most of the glucose up. So it's complicated structure, but I'm trying to explain you very kind of like to understand. So what happens is the cortisol rise high, and that's why the survival mode hits in. And in the survival mode, you have only 3 things to do: run away, freeze, or attack. And that's everything that can happen to the dog. But problem becomes if the stress is a constant. And what's mean the constant stress? What gives dogs, what puts dogs in this frame of the constant stress is a lack of respect coming from the owner, because we overhumanize our dogs. And then then they see that, oh my God, my parents are not seeing me for who I am. So probably they don't understand who I am. So if you don't understand who your furry baby is, then you cannot provide the real needs for them. What's actually the most important thing is to develop a secure attachment, because it is important for the dogs to eat and to have social interaction and everything. But what the most important for every social animal, that includes humans and dogs, that's why we were able to create this wonderful pact and wonderful contract that was established like thousands of years ago, is attachment. If attachment is secure attachment, we can last and thrive with that security that we do belong to this group. The group needs structure. Structure, when the group has a structure, every member of the group knows its place, and what comes out from the place is responsibility for the survival of the group. What happens is the humans, over-humanizing the dogs, do not show respect to the other members of the group, which means that other members of the group has their own needs. What we have a problem if that we have the dogs as a member of this group, and we do not have this awareness about dogs' needs. When we do not fulfill those needs, offering dogs secure attachment, they're gonna take over on themselves and expect us to develop secure attachment towards them, what actually put us in the shoes of our dogs' babies and put dogs in a shoe as being our parents. Responsibility of coming out from there is huge. The stress coming out from there is huge. And only thing we need to do is take our relationship back in place where it does belong, through the rituals. Is very simple solution. Feeding time properly, feeding ritual, departing reuniting ritual, playtime ritual, and walking ritual. When you combine these 4 rituals in over-exaggerating them, feeding properly, coming into the home and going out properly, taking the dogs in a walk properly and play properly, Then the dogs finally get off the throne, release the leadership position to us, and finally can develop secure attachment and relax. You will hear that the dogs are relaxed when they finally settle down, lay down, usually on the side, and then you hear that exhale. And every single time, before we act with the dog, and before we react with the dog, and before we offer dogs possibility to answer any calling, we need to work from that relax mode. And then, because I don't know, oftentimes the people are, when I talk about these things, I said, like, our dogs are not happy, they are hyper-vigilant. Our dogs are not happy, they are hyperactive. Our dogs are not happy, they are reactive. And all of those stages are very, very stress-related behaviors. So and then you're going to find yourself that your dog has some or more of these diseases, or actually this behavior, that leads them to a secure physiological failure. So with this study, what we want to do is we're gonna offer you possibility to apply. It's gonna be free of charge, so you don't have any monetary responsibilities towards this study. Rather, the only thing we need to do is to collect the first sample, and there will be a guidance for that. All of you that's joined the study and all of you that are gonna be accepted into the study, you can be placed into a control group or into a study group, and then when the study begins, you're going to be asked to provide the code that's actually cut, and then you send code to the lab. The only thing you need to be paying for is a shipment to a lab with a priority mail and a tracking number. From your home to desired lab, we have one lab in collecting places are in Serbia for the part of the Europe, the Balkan region. Then we have a collecting place in Paris, Europe, and we have a collecting place in California, US. So only thing you need to do is ship your code sample on the beginning of the study, on the end of the study. The control group the control group is important to have a possibility to remain in as much as it's possible into a same lifestyle. And study group will be invited to enroll into a free online and very interactive one-on-one with us, with me and other trainers, other supporters in this way. Interactive order of harmony or harmonic bonding program that actually gonna develop relationship in between you and your dog. That's actually develops secure attachment. In the progress of that, you're gonna leave all of these anxious behavior aside, and then that's gonna usually take like around 30 days. And after that, the study gonna end in 100 days after we begin, because after the 30 days, we expect that the dog's behavior gonna be much calmer. The dog's gonna get overcome all of these anxious obstacles and everything, and that my projection, that's abstract and hypothesis, that actually we're going to be able to notice the changes in the differences in the physiological body of the dog by doing a second code testing, because the minerals gonna structure themselves differently, because once we lower the stress, anxiety, and the way of dogs interacting toward us, we'll be able to track those changes into a physiological, we will be able to witness those things within the physiological changes in the dogs. Yeah, you can. The only thing you need to do is just please send us the sample into California. So you'll be, I guess, like to Canada, the easiest, the closest center. How you say that? Collection center is a California. So we're going to provide you with the address. Once you go there, you you please like share this link and share this invitation to the study for as much as people you can, because we need I want this to really be a huge scientific study that shows impact of the human relationship and our perception. What do we pursue is actually our love towards dog, and then we see how much actually they do impact our relationship. Actually, how our relationship actually impacts their physiology, their health, happiness, and longevity. So, with that said, again, I say all of these behavioral problems and challenges that we have, they can be many, and a lot of them can be different behavior challenges, but the ground zero of why they are happening is only one: insecure attachment towards humans. The dogs doesn't trust their humans, because with our behavior, with our emotional intelligence, with our way of handling our life affairs, we show irresponsibility towards a leadership position that the dogs actually need to rely on. And then the dogs take over, trying to protect us, and sacrifice themselves in that it's a rabbit hole, so there is kind of like no exit back. And that's what I become aware with my Tito. That was my own story. That's very emotional. And I had like, when I was, my entire life, I was a professional, like a professional canine, professional dog enthusiast. So I started my life as a boy of 16 years, volunteering in one of the most amazing veterinarian clinics in Serbia. Then I undergo my veterinarian studies in high school, right? Is it high school? High school, yeah. And then I started my university studies. When I withdrew from the university, once I started to learn about industrial farming of animals and feeding of industrial farming of the animals, because you have subjects like the meat production and the milk production, and how the animals are actually used and abused as machines to produce human food. So I couldn't just, my mindset came from the very well-established love for dogs. So that was my start. And then I couldn't study anymore, but I kept learning. And then I became a professional dog handler, handling one of the best show dogs of my time. And I retired 2015. After the world-winning title with my, then I was showing a wonderful black toy poodle that won over one of my mentors from Japan. And I said, can't go better than this, and I retired. As I retired, I said, finally it's time for me to live with my own dog. And then I said, it's time for me to welcome in my life my pet. So, and I did, and it was Tito. Tito came into my life. It was one of the babies of the standard poodle that I was caring for as a show dog, and she happened to have a babies. And her granddaughter, her grandson was actually Tito, a standard white poodle that I brought home, and I had finally pet. So it was not a show dog. That dog lived the life of the beautiful, well cared for pet, until I didn't realize how big separation anxiety he developed, how his coat started to completely fell apart. He didn't have a coat. I started to have a short hair standard poodle, until I actually didn't realize that what I'm doing to this dog is emotional abuse. Because my life at that time was I was going through divorce. I was going through one very strong relationship breakup. My business was under very big stress because we were just launching the shampoo and conditioner at that time. So life was very hard on me professionally, on every single level, and I just wanted to escape. And I escaped in the hug and love of this dog. And I almost killed him in that call. Then I understood that actually something drastically need to change here. And then I don't need to separate dogs from show dogs and $1 million worth of show dogs and pets. And that everything I know to professionally use in a canine communication, nutrition, and coat care should be applied to every single pet. And then I said, like, this world are not separated world. If you communicate with the dogs properly, if you feed them properly and care for their coat properly, every single dog gonna be $1 million show dog, regardless of their in-home status. And then when I started to apply those rules towards Tito, he was actually starting to get much better. Down the road, I understood that he got much more attention, and he developed secure attachment towards one friend of mine that was taking care about him when I was traveling. And one day I came to pick him up, and Tito was, it was in a park, and we were like, my friend was on the other side of the park. We said, oh, I'll just come there and pick him up. And then I parked the car. I get out and I come in park, and then I said, Tito, I call him to come, and he was like seeing me. He immediately started to, run towards me, but it was like very wild spread separation in between me and my friend. And he stopped in the middle, like a little donkey. He stopped. He didn't want to come to me. And then he was watching me on one side of the park and watching my friend on the other side of the park. And he was just choosing. And I said, please choose me, because I love you so much that I can love you with no you. But I want you to be with me. But I can also let you choose who you will live with. And as I said that, he turned to my friend, he ran to him, and he sit next to him. And that was the day I actually realized that I lost the battle for my life. And I knew that I want the best for Tito, and I was not the best for that dog, because the way I was using the dog, using Tito, to get over my own life drama I was going through that time. But that was a great wake-up call. I go and see him like oftentimes. I kind of chat with my friend. They have a wonderful life. Tito recovered wonderfully when next to Valentine. But also Tito set me on the great path of understanding the dogs from the completely different perspective. And I dedicated my life to a pure love and harmony way of interacting with the dog, where the dog is really respected as an animal with their own needs. And from then, since Tito, I was able to develop the program that you're gonna all undergo if you happen to be in the study group. And we're gonna go through that program. You're gonna have a one-on-one coat analysis. Every single one of you that will be in a study, regardless are you in a study group or a control group, you're going to do the code testing. We're going to go with you over the test results, and we're going to see what's going on behind the curtains, inside the body, what the secrets your dog's coat can tell us, because that's how we can act upfront, learning much more before the symptoms of any illness and disease occur. It can already be seen as the tissue of the dog's body gets developed and recovered, or even worse, even more and more damaged. The cancer doesn't happen overnight. The damage of the dog's body and immune system doesn't happen overnight. It's a constant systemic, and I can even say holistic damage of the body that takes time, but can be rooted in either of three pillars of the perfect canine care that starts with the behavior, either communication, nutrition, or the coat care. All of three together combined are a canine or a pure love and harmony wellness formula. And if you separate and see any of those three differently, we might be able not to, catch up the right signals on time that will prevent us from acting on time. And there is no magic pill. Once you see the results of the co-testing, there is no magic pill. And usually the first thing we need to do is change our relationship with our dogs. Start to look at them as dogs and provide them as much as possible understanding, love, and empathy for who they are. Not towards what we need, the emotional support, something that we are missing in life. It's not there to fulfill. They can be a good tool to overcome, get strength, and put it together, but it's not theirs to get the burden on their shoulders and saving us from our own failures to face the challenges in our life. It's not easy, but it's only right way to do. And I learned down this road since 2015. It's already 10 years of us putting this program together. And everything was initiated by Tito, the dog that I almost killed by my own weakness and the personal trauma I was going through. Those all were very legit traumas. Every one of us can experience any time in their life. And they are always okay to go through, but not to forget to try to find adequate support so we can overcome the trauma right way. If we put that burden on dogs, we might be able to easily cope at the time when trauma is present and just forget about it and not solve it actually, where the trauma become part of our subconsciousness and leads our life in a form of curse or bad luck or bad destiny. So I think this study can show us a lot, can open a lot of Pandora box, but also it can bring solutions on time that we have tools to undergo these changes and look for the support wherever we need to look for support in order to save both our lives and the ones that we claim love so much. And with that said, I'm happy to have any questions that you might ask, but also if not, I'm also very happy to let you go and then to meet some another day when we'll have like probably more to discuss.
Take my dog for walks regularly as I'm somewhat disabled. I need a walker and it has to be at the right time and weather-wise.
Yeah, so the dogs need to, when the dogs go to walk, they're actually going to work, because going to the walk for dogs is going to protect, to guard, and to mark the territory. So it's not a leisure time for them, it's work. As I said, oftentimes when we solve some problems for the doggy moms and doggy parents or the owners, name yourself as you want, and do not feel guilty if you do not give your dogs 2-mile walk a day, but do feel guilty if you didn't play with your dog 15 minutes every day. The leisure time for dog and the most structured life of dog is when we play with them. I do understand disability might be an obstacle for us to take the dogs out, and we want to make all of these things in good faith. But oftentimes when we take our dogs in walk, we actually put them for failure because they are maybe overreacting towards dogs, animals, other humans, or whatever, and we kind of always increase this challenge that they keep trying to protect us or the person that is walking if the rituals are not in-lined or perfectly connected. So what we need to do not feel guilty if you cannot provide your dog a proper walk. Because it's not. When you observe dogs, as I did through my life, I was observing dogs like in their natural habitat. And natural habitat for the dogs are the, how you call those places? Landfills, dumpsters. And in places like Serbia, you can look them in every block. You have a lot of stray dogs that were just hang out there because the people would feed them. And if you observe those dogs properly, you will see actually that they do not go into a walk. They do not go to exercise. They do not do anything if the food is provided. What they do, they would just walk around, protect their part of the territory that's not big from the others that might want to occupy that territory. If you see the stray dogs that are fed in front of the buildings, if that's allowed by law or if you can do that, you will see those dogs just moving around the block to protect the block from other dogs to come. And usually what you would see is that those dogs are just laying around. And we would probably call them lazy dogs, but that's what they do. If they have everything they need. And what the dogs need? They need secure attachment, they need food, and they need social interaction. They don't need exercise. Exercise doesn't exist in nature. Exercise is a human trait that's applied to humans because of the overeating habits. So we eat more food than energy we need to thrive. And then in order to balance that, we need to provide a physical activity for our bodies. No animals that don't go to hunt and kill and run away from the being hunt or run to hunt the food are not exercising. When you see gorillas, and then you would say, oh, but they're huge dogs and they need exercise and things like that. And you see gorillas, that's most strongest and biggest primate that this world knows, and you would see them just walking or staying entire day and eating the leaves as much as they need. They don't exercise. What do we always confuse is a breed. Like we assign the breed traits to dogs as a species. So if we have husky, we tend to think that dog need to walk and to go like long distances because that's what the dogs would do if they would be performing what they are bred to do. But that's only the talent of the dog. If you do not develop the talents remain sleeping. And our responsibility living in the urban settings is to keep dogs' talents asleep and provide them a happy, healthy life within the certain settings that we choose to bring them in. And don't feel guilty because of that. As I said, like we don't need to feel guilty not to take our dog in walk, because in the real life, they wouldn't go to walk. But what they need from us is play, social interaction, showing them that they mean to us, they are part of the group, they are part of the family, and they play. The playtime is the most important part of the day aside feeding time. So feeding and playtime are the unity moments. And then the walking time and the leaving and reuniting is a time where we actually challenge and see how strongly we are connected to our dogs. If the dogs develop separation anxiety on any level, they tend to gravitate towards this group. And I'm going to read it again because I don't know what time you enter this show. And for the ones that were watching the recording, I just want you to be aware of what this live actually was about. It's widely accepted, so it's abstract. It's a very important study. And it talks about the stress and cancer in dogs, comparison between a population of the dog diagnosed with the cancer and the control population, a pilot study, being revised like 2016 and published in the Macedonian Veterinarian Review, veterinary review and done by the Italian and British group of authors, talking that it's widely accepted that the physiological stress and mental illness can compromise the function of the immune system. Clinical and epidemiological studies on humans recognize that specific physiological factors such as stress, chronic depression, and lack of social support are risk factors for the development and progression of cancer. Unfortunately, the most of animal studies on these subjects are based on laboratory tests performed on mice. This retrospect cohort study aims to analyze the relationship between stress and tumor in pet dogs by evaluating and comparing the stress level in two groups of 69 dogs each, balanced for sex and age. The oncological group consists of dogs diagnosed with a cancer, and the control group consists of healthy dogs. Our results shows that before the cancer was diagnosed, more dogs in the oncological group faced changes in their household and routine as opposed to a control group. More dogs in oncological group tend to in the control group also showed signs of stress and anxiety. Before the cancer was diagnosed, as reported by their owners, these included attention seeking, hiding without any specific reason, following the owner around of the house, hypervigilance, fear of fireworks and gunshots, biting, aggression towards other dogs, aggression towards animals, and chewing excessively the parts of their body. Our results are aligned with this evidence from humans researchers, indicating that dogs with a cancer are significantly more likely to have shown signs of stress compared to control dogs during their life. So all of this to be prevented is just to do this study that I invite you to join us. We're going to do how the behavioral change that we're going to be able to bring in your dog's life within 1 month of solely being connected to our harmonic bonding program out from Order of Harmony that dogs and humans can develop, following the strict routine of developing and communicating with your dog, developing secure attachment and through communication with your dog through the rituals. I'm gonna personally with my team help you implement over the course of 1 month. After these changes in the behavior of your dog happens, we're gonna give 2 extra months or 3 extra months actually, so we'll be able to see that these behavioral changes might be visible, or are they visible? That's the study aim, to see how this change will impact their physiology. And as of now, as of my study of now shows, first through my Tito, and then later on through the dogs that I was able to work closely with and witness, it's something that we actually can expect to happen. But nevertheless, let's wait for study to start. I invite you with the open heart. It's free of charge. Only what we ask you to do is to take 2 times code for the testing, and ship it by priority mail with a tracking number to one of the closest location to you, so we can collect them. There is one in Serbia for the Balkan region. There is one in Paris for the Europe, and there is one in California for the Northern America and US. So northern part, like west part of the world. So all you need to do is apply, and we're gonna select which dog is gonna go in a study group, which gonna go in a control group. Both group gonna undergo code testing 2 times. The study group gonna have an extra timing working on improving the challenges of their behavior. The study gonna be free of charge, and the value of the services and the tests provided total might be somewhere around $2,000. That's all on us. It's not too much time consuming either. Like, you would need maybe 1 to 2 hours a week to attend the classes, or to chat with us in order to have a weekly progress and helping you achieve the goals. You will be journaling every day, and that will require maybe 10 to 15 minutes, and it will require maybe 10 to 15 minutes 3 times a day to implement the rituals. So it's not more than 2 hours a week dedication to this program. This is a study that can really help change the paradigm of the human-dog relationship and open a new era in how do we perceive impact we have on our dogs' physiology, health, and overall well-being. Is there anything more that we can talk? Please send us your questions. I'm very happy to answer anything, but as of now, I'm really happy to invite you to this comprehensive journey. Join us next week and help me keep this as a little ritual. Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, in another episode of With Sasharis on a topic, everything you wanted to know about dogs, but you didn't have whom to ask. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening, and then see you next week.